talking about the direction of dyslexia, I want to talk a little bit about where we're starting from. We've definitely made gains in where we're starting from now, and talking a little bit about those dyslexia laws and where we're at this point. And then get in specifically, because a lot of those laws are helping us to identify dyslexia earlier, to get remediation for students, and talk a little bit about those supports that are needed for individuals with dyslexia. And then I want to end with where we're going, addressing the whole individual, which is where we're getting into the social and emotional needs of these individuals, which is something now that the focus is really starting to move towards, and thankfully so, because really we are whole individuals, and unless we address all of those pieces, we don't see that full remediation or access for full potential a lot of times for students. So I'm excited about where we're at now and where we're headed, and that's the direction that I want to walk you through today. So let's dive into how to identify dyslexia and what supports are needed. So to identify dyslexia, first we have to know what it is. And again, that's one of the purposes of those state laws, is to define it. And a lot are pulling from this definition of International Dyslexia Association, which they have stated that dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin. So it is highly hereditary. So you're going to see if you've got, you know, for example, my uncle was diagnosed, my father is undiagnosed, but has every characteristic in the book. So this has come from that side of my family for when my son was identified with dyslexia, and his younger sister, who has a milder form. She was a compensator. It took longer to be identified, but you will often see siblings that have it, parents that have it. And so that is an important thing to be aware of. In fact, when we're looking at diagnosing, that's one of the things that we do, is take a family history, just like you would when you go in for a medical condition. That family history is part of that. It's going to give us that information there. It's characterized by difficulties in a specific aspect of language, specifically when we're talking about the reading process, tied to those foundational skills of word recognition and spelling and decoding, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Those difficulties typically result from a deficit in a specific area, and they are, what's interesting is that they are unexpected, considering other strengths, and a lot of times even with some good instruction. And so they need a very, very specific type of instruction. So strategies to support working memory. So there's three main areas that I'll just hit briefly. Compensatory strategies. So make sure, one of the things that research has shown is that our instruction, whatever it is explicit and step-by-step. So remember the working memory issue. For example, you know, I would say to my son, hey, Tyler, I need you to go to your room and I need you to make your bed and pick up your toys and hang up your clothes. And I'd get deer in headlights. And I'd list it again. And sometimes he would just go upstairs and I'd go up and nothing would be done, and I'd find him playing with his Legos. Or, you know, he'd start to break down and get emotional because he couldn't remember. That sequential working memory was an issue. He couldn't remember that list of steps and what I needed him to do, especially if I was just doing it verbally and I didn't give him a visual. So one-step directions, one at a time. Have them provide scaffolded support, like giving them a visual or that one step, and then have them feed that back. So recall strategies. Okay, so I want you to go upstairs and make your bed. Tyler, what do I want you to do? Go upstairs and make your bed. Okay, so go up and make your bed, and then I'll come check on you. You know, and just breaking that up and then giving them that next step. So that was really helpful for me, just even managing our household structure and what was happening there. So again, provide explicit instruction in whatever that is, and provide support where they need it. Visual is a huge help. So some of those external aids like visual cues, they really need that, prompts to help recall that. And then do some recall strategies for them if they're saying it back, or again, those external aids that can help with that recall as well.